Hey guys, Lazy Man here. Hey, I finished the Fortress build and I thought I'd give you guys a update and show you how it turned out. Anyway, there wasn't a whole lot of mods involved with this. The couple that we did do, one was we changed out the hard drive activity light and the power LED from blue to red. We also had to mod one of the 180mm fan grills to accommodate the graphics cards, as you'll see later. And then also we went ahead and single sleeved all the cables in the case. The client chose red and black, but he didn't want to use too much red. We just kind of wanted to, you know, add a little bit of red to actually accent the graphics card. Also, I think he's planning on installing lights in this, or having me install lights in this before I give it to him. So right now we have no LEDs or no cold cathodes in there. But I think he's going to order some, and then we'll give this some light. So anyway, let's take a look at it and see how it turned out. Alright guys, as you can see, we went ahead and single braided all the cables. Right here we have the 24-pin power connector. Here's the Pci Express cables. The waterfall of cables coming off the PSU. And then the two 8-pin Atx Power Connectors here at the top. Then also we went ahead and ran an additional power connector, Molex 4-pin connector to the motherboard. And we probably didn't need this at this time with only running one GPU, but I did that just in case the client decides that he wants to add into the 5970. He'll have enough power. Okay, then as you guys can see, we went ahead and installed a fan controller here. That's the Lamptron FC5. And we'll take a real quick look at that. That's a pretty nice fan controller. It's able to change colors. I think it's got like 6 different colors. We went ahead and set this up for red. And it has 4 channels and 4 thermal probes. Anyway, as you can see, I ran all the cables off the motherboard, of course behind the motherboard tray. And then I used cable clamps to clamp everything down. Also, there was a question that people had with the 5970 here, because of its length of being 12 inches, would it fit with the fan here and or the grill? And it definitely fits with the fan there, but it does present a problem with the grill. So I had to go ahead and mod that, and you know, I didn't do a video on that, so here, just take a look at these pictures. Okay, you can see it turned out pretty nice. I mean, you can't even tell that I cut into the grill there. And if we take a look at the other side here, it also looks pretty nice. You know, had I even messed up, you wouldn't even have known with all the cables there. But it does look pretty nice. Anyway, these are 3 180mm fans. And no, they don't push a lot of air. But what they do is, because of their large diameter, they do push a lot of volume. So I think it works pretty good for this case. Also, we installed a push-pull on the CPU cooler. Those are 120mm noise blockers. And those actually run pretty quiet. We did hook those up to the fan controller so he could monitor the speeds on them. But they seem like they're doing a pretty good job running them at full RPMs. Alright, let's go ahead and take a look at the back and see how that turned out. Alright, here we are at the back. And you know, I tried to do my best I could with the cable management. I mean, with all the single braided cables, it does make it a little bit more challenging. It does, you know, really make the front of the case look good, but when it goes to trying to route your cables on the back, you know, it's a little bit more work. But you know, I'm not saying this is the best job, but I think I did a pretty good job. So let's go ahead and take a closer look. Alright guys, starting up here in the right hand corner where the SSD is located, you can see first of all, way up here we have the Molex connector. This is the one that runs around, ties into the motherboard. and that brings that additional power to the PCI Express slot. And then the power comes into it, is routed down through here, you know, where it's daisy chained into the other Molex connectors, and then runs along here down and then back up into the PSU. So now if we go back over here and take a look at the SSD, kind of the same thing. We have the SATA power, we have the SATA data connector. Those both run straight down. As you can see right here, the SATA power or data connectors right there. They run through here, they kind of loop back around, and the SATA power runs along here. This is the bottom one, and then goes down and ties into the PSU. And then for the data connector, it's pretty simple. It just comes down all the way down here, comes back around, and then ties into the motherboard. Same thing with his storage drive. That's the red one here. Comes around, and that's located in the second bay here, where the hot swappable is, and it plugs right into there. Again, the same thing with the power connector. That's this one right here, feeding power to this hot swappable. Again, that just runs along here and then ties in here. If we take a look at this side here, what we have up top here, these are the two 8-pin HEX power connectors coming through. I was able to actually get them all stuck behind the little lip here of the back panel, and then comes down and then ties back into the motherboard or the PSU. And then for the 24 pin, comes from the PSU, comes across, and then comes down, ties right into the motherboard. And here I did have to use a zip tie. As you can see on all the other connectors or cables, I used what they call quick clamps. It's a little more work because you have to drill holes and then tap them, but I tell you, it does give a finished look at the end. Alright, and then the last one we have is the PCI Express cable, and that's this one coming here. It's coming down here. I've got it all spaced out right here, and I've got this being held on with double-sided 3M tape, and then this runs back and runs into the PSU. So that's pretty much it, guys. One last thing, the 3 fans. We did run all the 3 fans to the fan controller. We did put them on a single channel, so all 3 of these are tied in right here. There's a I don't want to say an octopus cable that I made, so we can run all 3 fans into one channel. Alright, so that's it for my cable management. You know, it did turn out pretty good. It was a little bit of work, but you know, it's well worth it in the long run, and I'm thinking the client's going to be very happy with this. So I mean, we don't have wires just running any direction. Everything has a rhyme and a reason to it. It's easily able to be followed from the PSU to whatever it's powering. So if he ever has to change anything, you know, it'll be easy for him. So anyway, it looks so nice. Here's what I'm thinking about doing. Take a look at this. Alright guys, here's what I have in mind. This is actually the back panel that I've attached to the front of the case. And then I've taken the front panel, the one with the window, and attached that to the back of the case. So how do you think that looks? Anyway, I did this just to actually show you guys that, you know, there's quite a bit of room back there, and there's no pressure on the back panel. So anyway, let's go ahead and take a look at some temps here and see what I overclocked this thing to. Alright guys, as you can see, I went ahead and clocked this to a little bit over 4.1. We're using a multiplier of 21, and I have the V-core at 1.248. Now I had spent a little bit of time you know, adjusting some of the settings here, but of course the client's going to have, you know, much more time to kind of dial this in and tweak it a little bit more. So I'm going to leave it up to him. We're going to keep it right at 4.1. It's running really stable, so that's a good thing. As you can see, if we look at the temps here, we're running anywhere between 31, 36, with the maximum being about 38. So it's a little bit warmer than maybe it should be. I did use the thermal paste that came with the cooler. I've suggested to the client that maybe that I'll go ahead and pull the cooler back off, you know, either put some MX3 on it or some Arctic Silver 5 and see if that'll help drop some of the temperatures by a few degrees. But you know, it's not too bad, and we'll go ahead and we'll run Prime 95 here in a minute, and you guys will you know, see what the full load temps are. Alright guys, as you can see here, we have all the cores maxed out at 100%, and we've been running Prime 95 here for just about almost 30 minutes now, 2 minutes shy of 30 minutes. And then we still have our overclock at 4.1, and then our temps we're looking at between 66 and 71 at the moment, or excuse me, 65 and 71, and the high being 74. So that's not the greatest, but it's, you know, it's not way out of line. Then if we go over here and we take a look at hardware monitor, they're showing the temps at 68 to 63, with the high being 69, where real temp was showing the high at 74. So there's a little bit of a discrepancy there, you know, 4 degrees. But then take a look at this. If we take a look at PC or Asus PC Pro, again we're at 1.24 volts. And if we come down here at the temps, it's showing the CPU temp at 55 and the motherboard temp at 26. So you know, maybe someone can leave me a comment and tell me which one's better or which one's more accurate. I mean, PC Pro is showing 55 degrees Celsius. Hardware monitor is showing 63 to 68, and real temp is showing 65 to 71. Alright guys, that's going to wrap it up for this Fortress build. We may do another video when I do install the lights for the client. Just depends if I have the time. So anyway, this is LazyMan. Catch up with me on the Corsair build coming up next. Alright, we'll talk to you later.